Hello my dearest INFJ entrepreneurs, welcome back to another video. We are very cozy here. I have my dad bonsai tree on the side and then some blankets. It's winter whenever you're watching it. This is a cold day today. Today I wanted to talk about courage, and we're gonna dive deep into why courage is so important if you are a business owner, and how to foster and cultivate more courage. So if you feel like you need some more courage, then this video is going to be for you. Every action that you have done in your business where you had to be courageous, like those were the things that really impacted you. And as an INFJ and as a business owners, courage is not something you can skip. Now, I know that you might be thinking, oh, wow, there are extroverted people. They are always out there. They are getting it down. It's almost like they have unlocked this level of courage. But just because they're out there networking and go-getters, it doesn't mean that they don't experience fear. It's just that for them, those activities are much more easier and simpler to do than for us who are introverted. And I like to make a distinction between being shy and being introverted. I think there are many of us who are not shy at all and are introverts. I think being introverted means a different type of nervous system in which your nervous system is already at a high arousal rate, meaning that you don't need a lot of stimulation in order for you to be okay. Where extroverts, they have a low level of arousal, and by getting out there, by being social, they can actually get that to a higher level. Where for us, it's already at a high level, and when we get more interactions or more social, that can be overstimulating. And so I just wanted to make that distinction. It doesn't mean you cannot be social or you are shy. It just means that you have a different nervous system and you need to find ways to work around that nervous system and to honor them. So let's talk about courage. I don't know about you, but I'm sure you have heard this quote: fortune favors the bold. And this quote has been made for a very specific reason. And I'm sure you will realize it too if you look back to your life and think about the times where you achieved something that you were proud of, whether it's getting into school, whether it's something in your business. Like, I want you to look at those things and I want you to think about whether or not you were acting brave before that success happened. For me, that's exactly what happened. Every time I showed up with courage, my life and my business changed and grew exponentially. So what I realized is that the more I can be brave, the more I can show up as brave, the more my life is going to be impacted for the better. And also, it also impacts the people around me too. And clients came to work with me, and again, opportunities have presented themselves. So when we talk about courage, there is an expression that I like to call compounded courage. And I want to talk about a little bit, how do we foster courage and how do we ignite courage? And I believe that courage is something that we can absolutely ignite and then compound that courage and compound that and move that courage to into our other areas of life. So a good way for you to think about it is, what are the actions that you can start doing now that are not the most scariest one, but you know you have to do them and it would require some courage to do so. Now, after you have done those little things, you're able to then move on to other important things, because by then you are on, your fire is turned on, and it's easier to get moving. It's easier to move from that momentum than to start from zero. And I'm going to give you my personal example. I absolutely hate administration. And as I was living in France, I noticed that there was always something coming up. There was something in the mailbox. There was some deal that I had to take care of. And every time I would travel and come back, I would have a bunch of letters waiting in my inbox. And I was like getting anxious every time I saw them. It was like health insurance stuff, housing allocation stuff. Like there was a lot of, like, I was a student at the time. So there was a lot of administrative shit that I needed to take care of. And I hated it. But I remember going to knock out all of the things that I need to take care of in one day. I would go to get some papers printed and I would give them to the health insurance company. And then I would go and take care of other things. And I would come home ignited because I just took care of 2 or 3 very important things that required courage and that I would have been procrastinating forever. So to me, that is igniting courage. I have a friend that I interviewed, and she talked about how she had to cut out a tree, and she bought herself a chainsaw, and she learned from YouTube how to start it, and she was cutting the tree with a chainsaw, and that was her ignition of courage. Now, I'm not saying that you should get a chainsaw and start cutting trees, or that this is administrative tasks for you, but I want you to think about what are the things in your life that you know you should do, whether it's a health checkup, whether it's administration, whether it's something that it's not business related per se, but you know you have to do. It's just that you've been sitting and procrastinating it because you're afraid. Whether you're afraid of doing the tasks, whether you're afraid of what would it mean, what would you find out, like it can be anything. And I want you to think of like one or two specific things that you have been procrastinating, and I want you to do them. And once you have done that and you start building that sparkle and that fire of courage, then I want you to move from that momentum to then do something bold for your business. Whether it's you showing up live, whether it's you sending a couple of emails, whether it's you, I don't know, doing something about your business, then requires courage and that you have been absolutely procrastinating on. That's compounded courage for you. It's compounding the courage by starting with small things, then escalating and gaining momentum to then move on to more and more scarier things. Now, what I also wanted you to realize is that I'm sure there were things in your life that used to scare you and now they don't. Like maybe there was something that have been afraid of, and until you did it, you realize that, oh, this is not a big deal. I can do this. This is not hard. And in your head, you made the task or the thing much bigger than it actually was. And it's only after that you realize that, wow, actually, this is not a big deal. So I want you to start thinking about those as well, because what I believe about courage is it's almost like a muscle that you go to the gym for. And as you grow and as you stretch yourself and you become more courageous, there will be things that used to scare you and they don't. They are now second nature to you. They are now, normal to you. I think I can give you my personal example because the fact that I'm talking and sitting here to you guys, that is my compounded courage over time. It's my muscle that I built up by doing this for a while and in different outlets for my business, for my podcast, my other marketing podcast that I have on my business side. It's that is something I built up the courage for, and I was really, really, really bad at talking and making sense and making and forming sentences. And I would think, okay, I have an accent that would bother people. And again, it doesn't mean that it's perfect now, but I can see the journey and the evolution that I came through just because I felt fear. I let myself just go through it and practice and let myself be better. And I think with courage, that's how it is. It doesn't mean that as I'm growing, there won't be new things that scare me. And I think I'm sure you guys know that courage is not the absence of fear. It's really is that there is fear, but you don't let it stop you. And a very good exercise of courage, if you want to test it as well, is when you think about doing something, you don't think too much about it, you just do it. So basically, there is a 3 seconds I think there's a 5 second rule by I think Mel Robinson. You can look it up. And this book is about how if you overthink an action, then you were not likely to do it because you are going to dissuade yourself, and you're going to convince yourself that this is not something that you should be doing, who you are, that you want to do this, and just you're going to convince yourself not to do it. So the key is to think about something that you want to do, and within 5 seconds go ahead and push the button, send the email, and don't overthink it, because the more you overthink it, the less likely it is for you to do it. So definitely highly recommend that book. I think the concept is amazing, and I think it's so true, because the more I think about something and the more I delay my action, the more then I think of, first of all, there is this shame spiral that I get into, like, oh, I'm a failure, why did I not do it, like why am I keep failing myself, you know? And I think that's important for you guys to, and I think it's important for you guys to also think about something that you want to do and just take action on it immediately. Okay, guys, I really hope that this video was helpful for you. I do have a 3-day masterclass called the Fearless INFJ that I ran last year. It's inside of our INFJ entrepreneurs community. If you're not a member, you can go ahead and join us. If you're not on Facebook for any reason and you'd like to still get in touch with us, come to our virtual hangouts or get access to trainings, I'm going to put a link in the description of this video where you can drop your contact info and get access to the training. Okay, so if that's not your job, that's cool. If you don't want to do Facebook groups, that's cool. Just make sure that you get the training from the description of this video, or if you're listening to this, I'm going to put that in the description of this podcast. In that 3-day masterclass, I really go into deep details around becoming fearless, from looking at identity shifts to how do I shift my identity to become a person that I want to become, and to creating alter egos, to really explaining, just giving you a good activation around courage. I really want you guys to learn and implement, and that's actually, I'm so proud of that masterclass. So definitely, if you want to take this 2 weeks where I'm not going to be posting, take the time and watch those masterclasses, because I definitely think that they are going to help you, move the needle for you and your business. Thank you so much for being here. Don't forget, drive over fear, progress over perfection. I'll see you guys next time. Be brave.